You know that feeling, right? Your English is good, people understand you, but you just know it doesn't sound quite natural. You feel like you're stuck on this bridge between just being understood and sounding truly fluent. Well, if that's you, then you are in exactly the right place. We're about to dive into 6 simple but really powerful upgrades that are going to make a huge difference in how you sound. So here's our game plan. We're going to start by talking about how to unlock that stuck feeling. Then we'll get into some really practical stuff, talking about the future, describing situations that are still happening, and connecting your ideas like a native speaker. And we'll wrap it up by tackling those tricky prepositions and upgrading some common words. Think of each of these as a key to unlocking that next level. So many English learners hit what we call the intermediate plateau. It's that super frustrating point where you just feel like you've stopped making progress. But the thing is, you haven't. You just need the right tools to break through. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. Give you the practical upgrades you need to smash that plateau and really find your confidence again. Does this sound familiar? You know the grammar rules, you've got a decent amount of vocabulary, but when you actually speak, it just doesn't flow. It doesn't sound like what you hear in the movies or from native speakers. I promise you, you are not alone in feeling this way. And the best part? The fixes are often way smaller and simpler than you think. First up, let's talk about the future. Now, most learners kind of lean on will and going to for pretty much everything. And that's okay, but choosing the right future form, that is one of the clearest signs of a confident, advanced speaker. It shows you really get the subtle differences in meaning. So, how do you pick the right one? Well, it's actually like a simple mental test. Just ask yourself these 4 questions. First, is it a fixed schedule, like a train timetable or a class schedule? If yes, use the present simple. Is it a plan that's in your calendar, an arrangement you've made? That's present continuous. Is it just an intention, something you plan to do but haven't locked in yet? That's going to. And finally, is it a decision you're making right now, on the spot? That's when you pull out will. Okay, let's see it in action. The lecture starts at 9. See? That's a fixed timetable, present simple. I am having dinner with a friend. That's a solid arrangement you've made. It's in your calendar. Perfect for present continuous. I'm going to redecorate the bathroom. This is just an intention for now. And don't worry, I will drive you. That's a spontaneous offer made in the moment. See how each one has a slightly different feel? That's fluency right there. Okay, let's move on to our next upgrade. And this one is a biggie. How do you talk about something that started in the past but is still true right now? This is where mastering the present perfect is an absolute game changer. This is probably one of the most common errors out there. Saying I live here for 10 years is understandable, yeah, but to a native speaker, it sounds a little bit off. Why? Because the action started in the past and is still going on. You need a tense that acts like a bridge, connecting the past to the present. And that bridge is the present perfect. I have lived here. It's such a small tweak, but it makes a massive difference in how natural you sound. And when you use the present perfect, you're usually going to use for or since. And the rule here is actually super simple. For is for a period of time, a duration, like for 3 years. Since is for a starting point in time, like since 2015. Just remember, for a period, since a point. Easy. And hey, if you want to add another layer of nuance, this is a real pro tip. Use the continuous form for ongoing actions, things you're actively doing, like I've been studying. But for ongoing states, things that just are, like knowing something or owning something, you stick with the simple form, I've known. Getting that difference right is a sign of a really advanced speaker. Okay, our next upgrade is all about making your sentences more complex, more elegant. Instead of using a bunch of short, choppy sentences, fluent speakers use relative clauses to pack more information in smoothly. This is a total fast track to sounding more advanced. Now, take a look at this sentence. On the surface, it looks perfectly fine, right? It's got a relative clause, who knows the client well, and it's describing the colleagues. But believe it or not, there is a tiny one-word mistake in here that even a lot of advanced learners make. Have another look. She is one of the colleagues who knows the client well. Can you spot it? I'll give you a second to think about it. And there it is. It should be know, not knows. So why is that? It's because the word who refers back to the plural noun colleagues. The verb inside that clause has to agree with the noun it's describing. So you've got plural colleagues, you need the plural verb know. It's a simple check, is my noun singular or plural, that can fix this every single time. All right, let's talk about prepositions. You know, those tiny little words that can be so frustrating because they don't always follow a clear logic. Picking the wrong one can make your English sound just a little bit off, even if the sentence is perfectly grammatical. So what's the secret here? It's simple. Stop trying to learn the verb and the preposition as separate words. They're not two words. They are one single idea, a chunk of language. You don't just accuse, you accuse someone of something. You don't just insist, you insist on doing something. The moment you start seeing them and learning them as one complete unit, they stop feeling so random. So here's a really simple strategy you can use. First, whenever you learn a new verb, write it down with its preposition as one block. Second, don't just memorize a list. Make up a short sentence that's actually true for you. It's way more memorable that way. And finally, start actively listening for these pairs when you're watching TV or talking to people. Your brain will just start to absorb the patterns naturally. And now for our final upgrade. And this one might be the most fun. This is where we swap out those common, everyday words for alternatives that are more specific, more precise, and just sound more natural. This is what really adds color and sophistication to your speech. This is where your English really starts to come alive. You know, instead of just saying someone is angry, what if you said they're short-tempered? That tells me something about their personality, not just how they feel right now. Instead of making a problem big, try blowing it out of proportion. It's just so much more vivid. Even a small change like going from do an interview to hold an interview shows a deeper grasp of professional English. These aren't just vocabulary upgrades, they're precision upgrades. So, let's pull it all together. Here's your new fluency upgrade checklist. First, choose the right future form to match your meaning. Second, use the present perfect to connect the past and present. Third, make sure your verbs agree in relative clauses for smoother sentences. Fourth, learn those verb and preposition pairs as single chunks. And finally, swap out simple words for more precise, colorful ones. These are your new tools. Look, each of these is a powerful tool you can start using today. So the big question is, which upgrade are you going to make first? Don't try to tackle all of them at once. That's a recipe for feeling overwhelmed. Just pick one. Focus on that one thing this week. Practice it, master it, because that's how you take one more step towards that natural, confident fluency you're aiming for.